Hi guys! We are today in the Metropolis studio and I have Chris from Unlock Your Sound with
Hello.
me. Hi Chris. He's
Thanks for having
running a successful online music business for mixing, mastering and further production and artist services. So I'm very excited to have him today with me because I thought we were just talking about digital marketing and about the music industry and he gave me some really good advice. And so I thought everything he said would be important for you guys as well. That's why I just do an open interview with him now.
Good to be here.
So Chris, maybe you just want to say a little bit about like your online business, maybe just 2-3 sentences.
Sure.
You know that.
Sure. So, I run a company called Unlock Your Sound. We do mixing and mastering services for artists the world over. Like most of our clients are overseas, and that's what we do. We also run a Facebook group, which
Nice.
you know quite well.
Yes.
And we offer mix evaluations, mix feedback as well. So, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I run the company, and we try and help artists get to the goal of great sounding masters for their records.
Nice. Yeah, the reason why I thought I need you as an expert for my questions is you build up. I think so. You build up your company just by finding clients online, and
Yeah.
I think it's the way to go as also for artists.
Yeah.
And there is a new way kind of in the music industry that provides us artists to find fans or to find as well like fans, clients out there. And I thought, ways.
Sure.
How could we do that? Do you have, let's just maybe talk about general digital marketing. How would you promote?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that I see it is like, the value of doing online stuff is because we now live in the age of the attention economy, and increasingly people's attention is inside the web. It's in
Definitely.
people's smartphones and stuff like that. And it's where people are getting their information from. So it kind of makes sense to be present, on these platforms and stuff like that. Unless, of course, someone can honestly tell me that their audience doesn't use the internet, then cool, great. If you know that to be the case, then by all means, you don't need to do it. But for me, like, I don't know. I get people asking me for advice about like online stuff, and like just the fact that someone says, "Oh, online," like they treat it like it's a separate entity from the reality,
Yes.
but it's actually very integrated in that reality.
Yeah.
Like we're just scrolling feeds all of the time and consuming the internet.
Sometimes you forget that that's the market. There's really people online.
Yeah, that's actually real people on
That's
the other
real
side.
thing.
It's just it's like not having a phone number
Yeah.
or not having an email address.
Yeah.
By not doing it, you just don't exist on the mediums of communication that people are using these days. So even to call it online, in my opinion, just trivializes it at all. Like, and. But in terms of how you do it, a lot of people really struggle with it, obviously, because it's quite kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of guts, I think, to put yourself out there. And I think there's obviously a massive personality variable with it. Like, I'm of the personality type that does do this. Of people who are more comfortable doing stuff. Like, I will happily post on Facebook or post on Twitter what I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
And I don't think too much about who's going to like it or who's going to care. I just do it. So, I mean, in terms of like how artists or brands or service providers or whatever should be doing it, I mean, at the very basic, at the very foundation of it, you should be turning up.
Yeah.
Like success in anything and whatever that means to you involves turning up. Like, you don't do well at school unless you turn up.
Yeah.
Right? You can't do well at work unless you turn up. You can't do well on social media without turning up. First of all, you got to turn up every day. Like, yeah, like the theoretical stuff and strategy and how to create transactions of value with your audience that leads to a certain goal. That's great and strategic and theoretical and stuff. But that doesn't work if you don't turn up.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not every day putting something out, something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be great. And it doesn't have to be well produced. It doesn't have to be a brilliant piece of art or piece of content. It just has to be something. And even if that's just like for example, that could just be us right now here in Metropolis, you know.
Yes.
I'm with Sherry. Sherry's great. Sherry's doing this stuff, you know, and we've been talking about this stuff, and that's a Facebook post, you know, because it rubs off on people that you're turning up every single day.
And why would you say is that so important, that the daily post? Would you say there's still people interested in your daily life? Because loads of people, you always hear people saying, oh, I don't want to use social media, I don't want to share my private life. Do you have to share your private life, or why is it so important to give daily content, and what kind of content? And
well, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But if you want results, like, no one has to do anything.
Of course.
No one, just because you're on Facebook doesn't mean you have to do it all of the time.
Yeah.
Or you're on Instagram doesn't mean you have to share your private life. You know, but you do have control over what you do share, you know, and especially when it comes to business, because when we're talking about, you know, when we're talking about marketing and stuff like that, we're trying to create opportunities of transactions between one party to another.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm an artist, I'm doing this because I want people to consume my music, right? Or if I'm a service provider, like I am, I'm trying to get people interested in my brand who might transact with me later, mixing and mastering and stuff. So the moment I want something from someone else, it no longer becomes relevant what my opinion about doing it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
if you want, if I was like all of the time like, oh, I don't do Facebook, or I don't do Instagram, and I don't do this, I don't do that. Great, but my audience does.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant, you know.
Definitely.
But you don't have to share everything. You can totally choose what to share, but share the stuff that A, you think is most relevant to your audience, and B, well, it's the same thing, like what is most valuable, most relevant to them. You know, you don't have to show them, you know, what you had for breakfast, but if you are meeting someone, or you're going to an event, or you're producing or recording, you can document that and you can pull it out, you know. And it just, that those small impressions over an extremely long period of time just build that. They build in, you know, big impressions with people, and what it communicates subconsciously to people is that you're not just doing this for a month and then it's going to go away. You're sticking around.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So that if you keep doing it, and then a year or two later you go, hey guys, hope you're enjoying the content, just letting you know that I've released this.
Yeah.
It's just a much better chance that they're going to give you the time of day. They're going to give you a listen because you've already provided them value every single day for a year. Even if that value is just snippets of your life that they consume for the sake of their own escapism.
Yeah.
Because they're doing a 9 to 5 and they take a break to just get out of their routine for a moment, for 5 minutes, scroll on your Instagram feed. Or they just, you know, they do that every day and consume a bit of you every day over a year. You've already brought them that escapism value. You've already brought them entertainment. Or you might have already brought them a more utility value, like how to do this, how to do that.
Yes.
You know, so when it does come to announcing that you've got something to sell or something for them to buy, you're just going to have a much better success rate.
And then you have already, I think very important is that you know what your brand kind of is, especially now as an artist. You don't need to kind of post like, oh my God, I'm feeling sick or whatever, my dad is in hospital or whatever. I think always it is important you as an artist have control over what you're posting. It's your
course.
social media.
Yeah.
And you should know your brand. You should, like, especially for myself, like, I'm a blues artist.
Yeah.
So it would be a bit weird if I would post anything with, oh my god, I'm in a club and it's full of glitter or whatever, because it's just not my music. So it should be part of your brand as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to be honest with posting. I do use social media a lot, and we just talked before, like, I'm going more into it, and I have to post. Yeah, I have to give you a bit more content about what I'm doing. But I just said it before, like, I'm actually not afraid of using it because I'm the one who sits behind and do it. And I think that's what artists always should understand.
Yeah.
And also just have a bit. What would you say, especially, like, how can you see what are the reactions of the audience? Because I think especially when you give content, like, there's always something that you should give your audience as well. For example, when I watch through Facebook, I want to know, like, why is it important for me? Like, I think every person is very selfish. So no matter what you post, what would you say about, like, how can you get that twist to kind of say, what does your audience have from your content? Like, what should you add there?
Well, at first, you figure that out. You know, you
get to know them.
You put stuff out. At first, it's a process of refinement and elimination. So you put out lots of content. It might be educational value content. It might just be you documenting what you're doing, but you put out a lot of different things. And the good thing is that the very nature of social media means you immediately get data.
Yeah.
Likes, comments, reactions, retweets, all of that stuff. That's your data immediately. So
yeah.
So even if you put out something and it gets, it gets basically zero feedback, that is the feedback. That is the data. Like, oh, no one liked it. Great. Mm-hmm. Maybe people just don't like that stuff. Or you decide to do it anyway because you don't care, and that's fine, because you're being true to yourself. But you don't have to. You can't figure it out before you do it, because there are too many. You can't read a book or just ask a million people how they would feel when you put out some content. The only way to find out is to actually pull it out and see what the feedback is, because your audience is different to my audience. What you do is different to what I do. Our goals are different. Our locations are different. Our demographics are different. The time of day that we put out, at the lighting, the audio, all of those, all of that large myriad of variables means you can't possibly just know and then execute and then it works out. You have to put the content out and you have to take the feedback constructively. So, like, if someone says, if someone comments saying, I hate you, that probably sucks, but it has zero value. Yeah. It doesn't mean you stop doing that.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't mean you stop making that piece of content. If they said, Sherry, great information, or, like, I'm really enjoying this content, but I think you can do this and this and this to make it better, that's constructive. Anything else you basically ignore.
Okay.
So yeah, you put it out, because, what artists that I've spoken to about this, a lot of them think, oh, I'm just, I'm gonna do some research and stuff like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, in the time that you're doing, like, research and watching endless YouTube videos about how to do this, you could have just done it and got that feedback.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a leap of faith. You have to put stuff out and see what people think, because you'll get your own feedback, you'll get your own data, and no one else can tell you any better than that.
So do you do a lot of data analysis as well, and how would you do it? Do you have any recommendation for tools?
In terms of getting the data, I mean, it's already there. Like, how many likes did you get on that post?
Yeah.
That's data. Facebook page has, like, insights. Twitter has Twitter analytics. If you have a website, you can attach Google Analytics to that. It's not like building massive reports or anything like that. It's just looking at the data, looking at what people are saying.
Yeah.
And then from there, this is another point that I should make. before and after you do this, you should be consuming your audience as well. They shouldn't just be consuming you. You should be consuming them so that you can turn around and know what to give them now, like what they care about.
So you do that especially for your business
Yeah,
as well,
absolutely.
that you always reflect when you put out content, like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not just when I put out content, but when I'm consuming the community itself. I'm seeing what people are talking about.
I see.
So
okay.
I know that I could like, oh, people really care about this thing. I can make a video. I make a video or write a blog about it, and all of a sudden, that piece of content is like my most successful piece of content, just because I read the community. I read my audience. I consumed them.
Yeah.
You know, for anyone wanting to get like up and running, for example, you know, and learn more about their audience, Facebook groups around interests. Twitter is really good. Go to Twitter search, type in keywords that are relevant to what you're doing. Like, I don't know, if you're, you know, like a blues musician, type into Twitter blues music, engage with everyone, you know, because you're probably going to find some people who like blues music.
Definitely.
You go to Facebook groups, you go to the blues music Facebook groups.
Yeah.
You provide a bit of value, you network a bit in there. You don't go in and spam your content to them, but you consume them so that you can respond to content with your content when they are asking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a two-way street.
And I think especially as an artist, it is kind of very easy to find out who your audience is, your target group.
Yeah.
But it's really important to know that as well. For example, as an artist, you always have the chance to even just go out to a concert and look around, like the music you like, look around who's there. And so that's what I always do when I'm at a concert. That's why when I'm at a concert, I look around like that to just see, like, get impressions. But therefore you really find out, like, what do they wear? What do they eat? What do they drink? What do they like? How do they look like? What's their daily life? You really need kind of all this information. Even for merchandise, you want to target it.
Yeah, because you can use that to kind of hack their interests.
Yes.
You know, like, you might find that a lot of people who like you because they like blues music also like, I don't know,
country boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Leather jackets.
Exactly. And then, so that when you are promoting your music or whatever, or like you're sending out emails to your email list, you go, oh, hey, hope you enjoy my music. I also sell this, which you might be interested in.
Have my own shoe brand or like country hat or whatever.
Exactly.
But I think you need to know. And in terms of that, when we are talking about like different assets to your music, like merchandise, how would you define kind of music? Is music still the product? Is it just a byproduct? What can you sell? Where can you get like the money out? Or what's, as an artist, or what's the product actually?
Well, musicians are creators. So they fall into the same category as people making money doing travel vlogs on YouTube and stuff like that. You're creators, you're creatives. Like I was watching a travel vlog. I've been watching a lot of travel vlogs recently. And I consume their content, right? I consume all of their videos. And one could say that is the product, right? Which is fair, but in fact it's actually the marketing. It's the product and the marketing and the branding. But how they're making money is like, oh, I also sell a book on Amazon about traveling. Or I'm sponsored by this company because they've got 100,000 followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting ad revenue. Like, all of these creators, they're finding a lot of, you know, new and amazing, not new actually, like just current ways of monetizing their brand.
Yeah.
So they can just focus on the creative. So I think with music, it is the product, but it's not necessarily the end product.
Yes.
It's the product and the marketing. But for me, that's all encompassed under branding. You know, like, you putting out videos, you making this video, you making Facebook posts, you know, putting out your music on Spotify and stuff like that. It's all product and marketing.
Yes.
It's all output. The person on the other side doesn't care. You know, they're consuming you. They're getting escapism out of you. For them, you're a reality TV show, so they've already got that value. That's as far as they're concerned, that's the product. But someone who only cares about your music and doesn't watch your videos, for them, your music is the product. You know, and if you're making money on the back end of that through streaming royalties, then amazing. But on top of that, you know, merch, sponsorships, ad revenues. None of this has actually changed, though. Like, this has been happening forever, long before the internet, when tapes and CDs were still good, when vinyl was still good. But music brands have always monetized through like appearances on TV shows, sponsorships from Pepsi Cola and stuff like that.
Definitely.
You know, just because what you have, when you have an audience, you have attention.
Yeah.
That attention is valuable to companies and other people who want that attention.
Yeah.
You know, if you have the attention of your audience, you are a marketing platform for someone else if you want to monetize that way.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's say that I was selling guitars, right? Let's say I'm a guitar manufacturer, right? You know, in order to sell those guitars, I need the attention of people who might be interested in buying those guitars. You might already have that. I'm like, oh, Sherilyn has a great following, like, amongst potential guitarists. I'm going to use her brand. I'm going to pay her to use my guitar on camera. Sherilyn doesn't do that, but that's an example. Because when you have attention, you have value. Definitely. But at that point, you need to know how to sell it, or how to pitch it to other people, or build it to such a large extent that other people will come along. Like, if you had 100,000 people consuming your content every single day, which is obviously a ridiculously large number, you can be sure as hell that people like Pepsi Cola would be interested in using that attention to sell their product.
Yeah, definitely. There's loads of YouTube stars there. When you just look on YouTube, I mean, you see with all the YouTube stars, you see all the time advertisement popping up and all that stuff. And I think especially the benefit of being an artist or having a big follower crowd is you are a brand and you are kind of an idol, and you should make use of that as well. So, and I think it's the same way, it's what you said, it has always been there. And it's not only for music, like, you can't just say, like, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm only doing music. I think no matter what company you have, you always sort of need collaborations, you need to have brandings, you need to have sponsorships, you need to, just work together and just make the most out of your value. I mean, collaboration
is a really good point as well. Like, you know, I've done quite a few exchanges with peers in my network, in my industry, where, like, I've given content to them for their YouTube channel and they've done it for me, or blog or whatever. I mean, we're doing that right now. This is going to go up on your Facebook page, and, you know, your attention is your audience. I'm basically getting the attention of your audience by doing this, you know, and I share it onto my stuff, and my audience is going to get your attention, you know.
So hello, Chris audience.
and that's exactly how it works. You know, if you are an artist and you've got 100 followers on your Instagram, you can be sure that other artists have 100 followers. Why don't you all share each other's followers and collaborate and interview each other and exchange stuff and shout each other out? Because now all of a sudden you all have 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
You do that again, you've got 10,000 amongst you. You know? So yeah.
And also when we are talking about social media and about how there's a very old school way, but I think it's still very important, which is newsletter and email lists.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for music. How do you have any advice, or how could you? We were just talking about before, like, thinking about ways to get like email subscribers, and also maybe you want to say, like, why it is still so important to have that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. It's important because it's a lot easier to control how your audience consumes the content in your emails.
Yeah.
If I put something out to my mailing list, I know they're going to get it. I know they're going to see it. I don't know they're going to read it because they might delete it, but I know that they will see it.
Yeah.
On social media, we have this supply and demand problem. Like let's say for example, today only one person is going to be on Facebook for 10 minutes, right? But we both make 10 minutes worth of content.
Yeah.
But we're the only ones who are putting it on Facebook today. Let's say that happens. They're going to choose to consume one of our pieces of content because they don't have time to consume both of them, right? So they have to choose one. And, you know, if they choose you, they don't consume my content and then it's gone. They probably don't see it again tomorrow or whatever because new content will come out tomorrow.
That's it, yeah.
That's kind of where social media is at the moment. Everyone's consuming content, but everyone's also creating it.
Sure.
You know, so your feed, the feed that you consume, you know, at most, you can give it 24 hours of attention in a day, right? But there might be more than 24 hours worth of content in the world in your feed to consume. Yeah. So when you put something out, you don't always know that people are going to see it because it depends on how much other content is being put out right now and how much attention is there to consume all of it.
Yeah.
You know, and if the demand is lower than the supply, someone's not going to have their content consumed.
Yeah.
However, with email, they have to at least read the subject in order to delete it.
Definitely.
So you've definitely made an impression on them there. But email, the good thing about email is it's just another means of creating transactions with your audience. Like, it's all about, you know, having a series of transactions that allow you to exchange value with your audience. So you get their attention in exchange for some value that you've given them. You know, it might be the Facebook posts that you've been making every day for a year, right?
Yeah.
Just videos of you playing or whatever, and then every so often you say, "Oh, guys, if you like to see more, or if you'd be interested in some of my merchandise or interested in keeping up to date with me, then you know, sign up to my mailing list." And you say that maybe every 10 posts, and they all get deeper into your sort of brand's ecosystem.
Yeah.
So that when you do, and then as you build up the email list, you're also sending email exclusive content once a week. You do that over 6 months, and the person on the other end has received that content every week for 6 months. On the 7th month, when you go, my EP, my long awaited EP is out, you know, and they already know it's coming out. You've already built hype in them because you've been putting out so much. It's just more, you know, it's just more likely that they're going to buy it or click through or whatever. But also, you know, like I said, you got social media on the top layer, and you funnel, you know, some people use this word, into your email list, and then when you got something to sell, you sell it, right? Yeah. It's not, email marketing is not the whole thing. Like, you know, it's not successful for everyone, but it is very successful for some people. But it's a lot easier to sell to people via email than it is on social media. Very few people will buy anything through a social media post, or even consume your music through a social media post, because I don't go onto my phone when I do this and I open the Facebook app. The reason I'm doing it is because I just want to sit here mindlessly scrolling. I don't want to buy anything. Yeah. I'm not here to buy right now. Yeah. I'm here to just not think. Just literally do zero. Yes. Just do this mindlessly. That's what social media is for. But when I open my email app, I'm in a different mindset. Absolutely. I'm more ready to either buy something or consume some content, click on a link, whatever. Yeah. But if you try and link your product to me on my Facebook feed, I'm not interested because I'm just doing this.
Absolutely.
And I opened the Facebook app for a reason. I don't want to leave the Facebook app. Yeah. I opened the Instagram app for a reason. I don't want to go anywhere else. Unless you offer me something so enticing, right, that, you know, it's enticing enough for me to want to leave the Instagram app and go to your thing. Yeah. And that might be, you know, that might be like, oh, hey guys, I've got some tracks and loads of stuff that I want you to have for free. You just got to click the link in my bio. That's going to be like, yeah, absolutely. That's enticing. That seems profitable for me to do that. So I will go and click on that link.
Yeah, and we just had a chat before. It is like how to get people to subscribe to your newsletter. And especially we were just quickly looking on my stuff, and we were realizing like just having a download link for a song might not work, especially if you're not a really well established artist, because you can get music for free all over. Like you go on Spotify, it's a good thing to kind of say like, but you need to give definitely people something.
Yeah.
And that's the clue. Like, what can we as artists give people to, or make people subscribe to our newsletter? Like, what's...
Well, the thing with it depends on the audience. So, the thing with the download thing is, it could work, for example, if you knew that if you knew for a fact, not just I think, but if you know through data that your audience is the same demographic that still downloads and buys music, or plays music from like a computer in a hi-fi audio setup. However, if your community, if your audience only listens to music on their phone and streams it, they're not going to be interested in a download. I mean, you can't... It's such a pain to even download stuff onto these things. Like, oh, you've got free music to download. Great, but I've already got Spotify, I've already got YouTube, I've already got SoundCloud, I've already got free music.
And it's also nothing new. I think that's what everybody does.
It's nothing new, and also, like, it's actually more friction for me to click through this and this and that just to download your free song where I've already got... No one wants what they've already got.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that. So I think artists need to figure out a way of adding a lot of value to that. They could do the free download thing, but that should be part of a package. It should be like, you get a free download, but you also get exclusive videos from me over the next 7 days, like not personalised, but exclusive content, me playing cover songs of this and that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you got to figure that out, you know. Or going back to the example that you mentioned before about like boots and stuff like that, you know, you knowing that your audience likes this and this and that, you might offer them something that tickles that part of their brain as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you know, if you sign up to my newsletter, you get my music, you get my news and stuff like that, but you also get, you know, recommendations on boots that I like, you know.
Yeah,
so again, know your audience.
Yeah.
All of this stuff, all this theoretical stuff has zero value if you don't know your audience.
That's it, yeah.
So knowing your audience is at least 50% of the whole thing. You know, like, I didn't know until a good 20 YouTube videos into doing what I do, what my demographic was. I had a good idea what my demographic was, but I didn't know it would be as much as like 98% men and those guys are like 25 to 45, because YouTube tells me now. But I wouldn't have that data if I didn't put out first.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just look at that data and be theoretical about it, you know?
So that's why it's really important to keep on doing and not stopping.
Just turn up. Just turn up and everything else will make itself clear. If you don't turn up, nothing else can happen. You can't get data. You can't learn your audience. You know, you can't learn what people like about your content. And just because someone else who does exactly the same thing as you on paper is doing it, doesn't mean everything's going to map over, because you're two different people.
Definitely.
The way you talk is different. The way people look is different. The way some people just like some people more than others.
Yes.
You know, like you might have two very similar artists. They do basically exactly the same thing, but I might despise one but adore the other.
Yes.
Just because of my subjective opinion about them.
Yes.
You know?
So I think the first thing that you should figure out as an artist is find out who you are, build up your brand, see what you like, and then give this bit of exclusivity to your fans. Like, just put out who you are, what you like, and then see who follows you. Yeah. And then keep on doing that. And now we just maybe to sum it up quickly what we said so far. So the good thing is, so don't be afraid of social media or like digital marketing or whatever we will call it, but that's the market, and it's just not we have a direct connection nowadays to the to our fans, to our audience, which we should use. So find out who you are. Use direct contact to your fans. It's not like digital, actually. They're really people. Say hello to them every
that's
day.
a good point. Like, they're not just likes and comments. They're actually real life people with, self-confidence and self-confidence issues and insecurities and,
Definitely.
good days and bad days and loves and hates,
And they want to connect to you. And I think that's the important point. How to build up that connection. And that's the only thing that this digital thing is doing. That's the connection, like the channel between you and the people out there. And if you provide the right content that gives just people what they want to hear as well, which is related to you, then that's kind of the trick. And then we've just heard all the tools that you could use, using Instagram, using Facebook, using YouTube, link it all together, newsletter, don't be afraid of that, and see yourself maybe more as a brand, not only as a musician.
Yeah,
that's also
indeed.
very important. And yeah, I think
that probably covers most of it.
Should sum it up so far. Yeah, cool. Then I would say maybe if we get good response for that, hopefully, and it's helpful for some, then just let us know.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Good to be here.
Metropolis Studio in the house. Bye, guys.